breaking news.
And that breaking news, the body found in the Platte River today has been...
Her chosen path led her to D Chip Bridge, a well-known shortcut she often used. Today, her partially clothed body was discovered in the River Levan. Caroline Glenn was born in Derry, Northern Ireland, to loving parents William and Margaret Glenn. After 5 miscarriages, her parents cherished her deeply as their only child. Her parents' unwavering affection and support shaped Caroline's childhood, creating a nurturing environment filled with love and care. Seeking better opportunities and a close-knit community, the family relocated to Bonhill in Scotland, a quaint town known for its picturesque landscapes and welcoming residents. In Bonhill, Caroline blossomed into a bright and cheerful young girl. She attended Our Lady and St. Patrick High School in Dunbar, where she was known for her friendliness, academic diligence, and enthusiasm in extracurricular activity. Unfortunately, her parents divorced when Caroline was only 7 years old. This was very traumatic for Caroline, as she had to stay with her mother because her father was a soldier. She adored her father and would rather have wanted to be with him. By August 1996, Caroline was a 4th-year pupil, making her way through the challenges and experiences of adolescence. She was a 14-year-old girl who had dreams and aspirations like many girls her age, and a future that seemed full of promise. On the night of August 24, 1996, Caroline invited her best friend Joanne Men for a sleepover, while her mother was out celebrating her 40th birthday. They walked outside past the Ton Shops at 23:45 p.m. when Carol said she intends to meet her boyfriend Robert O'Brien at a bridge. Despite her best friend's warnings to avoid the rondo, she went and Joanne went back to Caroline's house. Robert was 18 years old at the time, but despite her mother's reservations about the age gap, Caroline was infatuated with him. The relationship started that summer, and the couple attended the Oasis concert at Collage Castle County Park just 3 weeks before. This meeting meant to be a brief encounter. Typical of young love, would tragically become Caroline's last. Her chosen path led her to D Chip Bridge, a well-known shortcut she often used. The bridge connected to the river towpath, offering a quicker though more secluded route. Sadly, Caroline never reached her destination. The next day, her partially clothed body was discovered in the River Levan near the place of Bonhill in Renton by a passerby. The picturesque river had become the scene of a horrifying tragedy. As investigators delved into the circumstances of her demise, it became clear she had suffered severe injuries. Extensive blunt force trauma to her scalp, face, and neck had resulted in her being unconscious. News of her brutal slaying sent shockwaves through the close-knit community, plunging her family and friends into profound grief and despair. Law enforcement officials launched an immediate and thorough investigation seeking to unravel the mystery of that fateful night. The serene riverbanks and quiet pathways turned into sites of intense scrutiny as detectives combed for evidence and solicited information from the public. The day Caroline's body was discovered by the police was tragically her mother's 40th birthday. This cruel twist of fate deepened the family's anguish as what should have been a day of celebration turned into one of unimaginable sorrow. A pathologist determined that Caroline had sustained 10 significant blows to the head, which had rendered her unconscious before she was submerged in the river. Further investigation revealed that a group of teenagers had viciously attacked her, subjecting her to verbal abuse and repeatedly kicking and punching her head and body with a blunt object. In 1996, this group's 4 individuals' names were widely circulated in the village, but there was never enough evidence to arrest and charge them. The main reason was that they all rigidly stuck to the same alibi and told officers they spent the night in an apartment in Allen Crescent. Although the assault was brutal, the ultimate cause of demise was determined to be drowning. The community was shattered by the senseless loss of such a young life. On February 26, 1997, Caroline's funeral was held in Alexandria, drawing mourners from across the region. Friends, family, and community members gathered to pay their respects and say their final goodbyes. The service was a poignant reminder of the young life that had been so violently taken, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. The grief was palpable, but so too was the resolve to remember Caroline and seek justice for her untimely demise. Despite the launch of an extensive investigation, the case remained unsolved for years, leaving the community in a state of ongoing grief and uncertainty. It was not until June 2019, when Police Scotland's major investigation team re-examined the case, that new hope emerged for solving the mystery. The renewed investigation involved re-interviewing residents of Allen Crescent. This is where Robert O'Brien, along with Andrew Kelly, Sarah Jane O'Neill and Donna Brandt, had claimed to spend the night of Caroline's demise. A critical breakthrough came from an upstairs neighbor, Linda Dorian, who revealed she had seen 4 people leave the house with 2 small children. The group walked down Allen Crescent and crossed Main Street, which connects Ron to Alexandria, and then went toward the River Levant. This contradicted earlier accounts and added significant new details to the timeline of events. On the night in question, Andrew and Sarah were babysitting 2 young boys, Archie Wilson, aged 4, and his baby brother Jamie. They were later joined by Robert O'Brien and his pregnant girlfriend Donna. The group, including the young children, left the apartment together when they returned. More than an hour later, Linda heard a loud commotion and an argument. She heard one of them say something along the lines of, "That was not meant to happen, that went too far. How is this going to look?" It suggested that something significant had occurred during their absence. The new information aligned with the account given by 4-year-old Archie Wilson the day after Caroline's life was taken. Archie had told his mother Betty that he had been near the river and witnessed a fight during which Caroline fell into the water. At the time, his statement seemed unclear and was difficult to act upon once Caroline's body was found. There were all these rumors, so they thought Archie had picked up on those. However, with the neighbors' corroborating testimony, Archie's innocent observations became a vital piece of evidence. The reinvestigation brought a renewed sense of urgency and hope to Caroline's case. Detectives worked meticulously to piece together the events of that tragic night, aiming to bring justice to Caroline and closure to her grieving family and community. This breakthrough marked a significant step forward in the decades-long quest to solve the brutal demise of a young girl whose life was tragically cut short. In November 2021, 3 individuals were charged with her slaying. Robert O'Brien, aged 45, Andrew Kelly, aged 44, and Donna Marie Brand, also aged 44. Sarah Jane O'Neill, who had also been implicated in the case, had passed away before she could be charged. The trial commenced in November 2023 at the High Court in Glasgow, drawing widespread attention and reopening old wounds for the community and Caroline's loved ones. Archie was never the same after what he witnessed. Now in his early 30s, he was deemed unfit to give evidence during the trial. Caroline's childhood friend, Joanne Men, 42, told the court O'Brien had threatened to take the life of Caroline for kissing another boy, and that she had seen him bully her on more than one occasion. On December 14th, 2023, O'Brien, Kelly, and Brand were found guilty of taking Caroline's life. Verdict was delivered at the High Court in Glasgow, concluding a case that had haunted investigators and the community for decades. Notably, all 3 convicted individuals had been teenage at the time of the crime. The community asked why this evidence was not gathered in 1996. Detective Inspector Granger said it appeared that the relevant questions were simply not asked. He said another obstacle was that in the late 1990s, illegal substances were rife in Renton and the surrounding area, and several potential witnesses were criminals themselves who lived chaotic lives. Caroline's teenage perpetrators were all illegal substance users who shoplifted to fund their habits. In January 2024, the sentencing phase brought some measure of closure. Passing sentence, Lord Braid said, "You have taken a daughter from a loving mother. Miss Mache has spoken of the pain that Caroline's demise has caused, the void her demise has left that will never be filled. She has been deprived of seeing the woman that Caroline would have become. No sentence that I pass could possibly make up for what she has lost." O'Brien and Kelly were both sentenced to life imprisonment. O'Brien was given a minimum term of 22 years before he would be eligible for parole. In the years following the slaying, O'Brien went on to have the child with Brand, and he was jailed for attempted murder and a serious assault. He was the main perpetrator in this case, as he inflicted the harm on Caroline. Kelly was set to serve a minimum of 18 years. Brand was unfit to attend court and was only sentenced on April 22nd to a minimum of 17 years imprisonment via video call. The sentencing marked a pivotal moment for Caroline's family and friends, most especially her father and mother, Margaret Mache. She had the following to say: "This is the day that I have been waiting for 27 years." And she added, "It is not going to bring Caroline back, but it is justice for her. I do not know if closure is the right word, but justice has certainly been done." The community of Bon Hill, still marked by the tragedy, found some solace in the resolution of a case that had deeply affected them for so long. The convictions and sentences served as a reminder of the persistence and dedication of law enforcement in seeking justice. No matter how much time has passed through, the pain of her loss endures. This resolution honors Caroline's memory and highlights the relentless pursuit of justice. Both O'Brien and Kelly have launched a bid for freedom after the sentencing and intend to appeal their convictions and life sentences.